Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's very good.
Okay, we got 6:30. We get started. Item of the week. Code of conduct item is to speak and act supportively of ECI as a company and our workers. This is kind of an important one to the the professionalism we display to the outside. We're often, I know, working for maybe other contractors who are bigger and sometimes think they're better, and you hear them mouthing off about each other, about the employees there. It doesn't look good, does it? So we like to maintain good, respectful speech about everybody that works here and our subs, our vendors, and everybody, and clients. So let's see, we're going to talk a moment about utility demolition. And first, for announcements, we have a new employee, Rich Stockwell. Is Rich here? Rygate. Okay. And then look for the fare tickets in your paychecks. And also make sure, again, secure your equipment, your job trailers, and everything for the weekend. Summer's a tough time for security. Vandalism is always a problem. Okay, technical tips. We're still on horizontal curves and kind of just a little bit wrapping up some of these things, and wanted to discuss kind of just a review of what we've talked about, some of the curve portion and super elevation. And this image here shows typical road transitions from a regular crown, which we would see on a tangent section of road, to change into a super elevated section through a curve. So remember we talked about the spiral section where the changes occur, where you go from the regular profile or cross section, which in a tangent section would typically be just a regular crown, and then it starts to build into the curve with the super elevation, maxes out of the super elevation constant through the curve, and then tapers back out of it on the way to the next tangent. I think that illustration shows it pretty good. And it's never that simple, of course. This kind of shows it. It's a schematic that shows right edge of pavement, left edge of pavement, a grade line, and then how in the grade line at the center line of road, and how the left is below the grade line, the right side is above. In this case, it's going into a left turn, and it's a compound curve. It straightens out, short tangent, and then goes to a right turn. So you can see that it's complicated, and there'd be a lot of information that could be provided by a chart like this. And this is up in Berlin. We're down in Berlin. And you can see we have a curve coming in here, and actually it looks like a compound curve. So there is a lot of super elevation adjustment, and we've been working on that. I know the changes were so extreme that the paver couldn't really manage the changes, right, Harvey?
Yeah. That's the way it is.
Yeah, the paver has, it has certain limitations because of the size of it, because the screed's working behind it, because you can only change things so quickly. And it's complicated by the fact that there's another approach coming together for a merge. And also we have a vertical curve. Remember we talked about vertical curves. So there's just a whole lot going on these kind of things. And it's good to be aware of what we're building, what the needs are, and how the grade makes the performance of the ride improve. So this week's project is covering the SovereignNet communications. This is an update. Remember we had this, we profiled this job back in the winter when we started some internal slab work, demolition and rebuilding slab with conduit underneath the slab and everything. They have some kind of communication building here. And our work that's going on now, or just getting wrapped up now, are 3 clusters of cooling tower foundations, 2 K30.4 electric vaults, 2 generator pads with thickened edges at 50 by 10 by 12, good sized slabs, 1 equipment pad, 54 by 5, 3 bracket foundations, and 6 light pole foundations, and we're finishing up sub-base for pavement. So here's the chillers. It's pretty amazing what it takes for these, computer, server room type cooling systems. The power with those generators, they have whatever they're going to put there, 2 generators, and the cooling capacity. So that's what I've got. I had a short blog here about demolition of utilities, and by going to this, our email safety blog of the week, you can get some of the forms if you need the forms, or you can go to our employee web portal and go to a form. So you see I have utility, demo protocol, and form here. So let's see if it works. I haven't done it in a while. Yep, see something's popped up there. Open one done. Not opening, but something downloaded. I don't know if I might have clicked something that I didn't intend to click. There we go. So if you need this form, it's available on our web portal, employee web portal. Plus, you can connect through the, the safety blog. That.
So we're going to just kind of review. It's in our corporate safety manual. It's just a utility demo protocol. It's a good refresher that this is available and we should be using these. Project down in CCTA on Cherry Street in St. Paul. We're going to be using it quite a lot because there's a lot of buried stuff in it. It's just kind of a catch-all that we're kind of deeming responsibility on the utility owner than us to have responsibility of actually document trail. As you can see, buried communication lines that could potentially be in our way, buried, I think that's like a water line that could potentially in our way, like our bore plans, we're putting sewer in the ground, putting drainage in the ground, something that potentially is in our working path that we need to either remove it for safety purposes to get a trench box in, or it's in our line of path of what we're trying to install. So this utility demo protocol plan kind of just gets everybody involved, the owner, client, who owns the utility, that, hey, we're going to remove this from service, just so everybody knows that so if they ever want to try to use it again, this is what happens. So again, demolition is allowed under the following conditions. If the contract drawings show demo, don't have to go through this next process. But if it does not, and it's kind of an unknown that we see out there in the field, then we should try to get the owner allows demolition for abandoned utilities and such demolition to allow savings and effort to complete the project and provide improved safety.
It did work.
So even if it's a sewer line, something that we're removing and not going to replace, let's try to make sure all the foremen's project leaders, even laborers, try to say, hey, did we fill out a utility demo? It's just a way that kind of a catch-all that we can get the documentation, have it on file anytime we're removing any gas, electric lines, sewer lines, water, and communication. It's just a way that we can protect ourselves from any, big liability down the road, especially when it comes to, a communication line, electric or a gas line, or even potentially a sewer line, because we might have to go back, dig this up, and repair it.
Wow. What did he just do?
Reduce our liabilities. Is there any questions when it comes to your demo?
No.
Kind of straightforward, but it's a good refresher. It's been a couple of years since we've talked about it. Yeah, it could be the owner's client, whoever's project managing of the project. I'll try to show you on the form. Ken just had. Yeah. Utility, location, the owner. Comcast, Fairpoint, City of Burlington Electric, whoever it is, verify is de-energized, especially when it comes to the electrical lines.
Oh my God!
This is just a good kind of catch-all that we can keep in the project file. If we ever have to go back, we have that information. Is demolition required by the contract? If not, why is demolition required? Could be for safety reasons, could be it's in our line of path. And then just kind of the owner's representative, and then our site foreman superintendent, we're just going to date it. Pretty straightforward document. Just some quick requirements. Utility owner must be on site during the demolition. It's good to have that documentation. We should also try to take pictures. ECI verification, the utility is de-energized, so it can consist of magnetic field meters and electrical lines, drilling, taping of water lines, and partial removing of pipe for sewer. Just kind of that catch-all that nothing bad's going to happen when we do take this line out of service. Owner's verification to be in accordance with the standards, procedures. Again, no gas line shall be demolished until the owner has cut open the line and verified that there's non-residential gas, explosive gases. Electrical locked out, tagged out, and grounded in accordance with the owner's standards. So when we actually go ahead and start doing this process, we would like to have them there really verifying all this stuff. Let's not take on the responsibility of taking these
I'm not using nothing.
out.
That's not the theory.
How small it is, how old it is, let's just not take that liability over. Let's make sure that we have a representative there kind of doing a lot of the legwork for us, and then we can use our tools and equipment after they sign off on this document. So are there any other questions? It's a good question. Thanks, Pat. George?
And I've always tried to mark it as you're backfilling it, so if you ever
Witness?
have to go back,
Yeah,
you get
throw a
something to
witness.
mark it and maybe some ties on it.
Throw some ties, throw it in the log field book.
So if it's electric, I want the owner to go.
Yeah. We will be taking some electric out in CCTA, so it's a good refresher when we actually go ahead and take that one out.
And in urban environments are really tricky. There's, things are backfed. There's just a lot going on, and you can never really be sure
Right.
if things are de-energized.
Yeah, the more people we get involved in these decision making, so I think the better everyone will be. Yeah. This is a good topic.
On that job, though, you run into a lot of old infrastructures that were in past buildings, and when they pull them out and put the new one in, the line stops where the excavation stops. So you still, in yesterday's case, we had 20 feet of service coming off a water line, and the gas and water company showed up because they have to decipher whose is whose because they look a lot alike. That old line was all cast steel line. They used each other's lines for that stuff. Even the older steel line has a newer plastic sleeve going to it. So you may see it rusted on the outside and go, oh, it's old. Well, get too close to it and find out it's got a liner in it and it's still alive.
Yeah, and you don't know whether they just cap that service or whether they
So you
turn
want
it off.
to call on 3 providers to come down and have them scope it out and check out
Right.
who's got what. Let
Have them do that.
decision. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point. Okay, thanks. Don't forget, fair tickets. Next week at the fair, I believe, starts Saturday. Is that correct? Whoa. Monday.
Brian Martell.
Put something hard to draw a load off of it. Is that what takes the power away
Yeah,
from it?
they will actually
Force a dead load through it.
down, tag it out of service, verify that.
What's the process?
As soon as they unhook it, it becomes
They unhook the power from it,
yeah, and
and
then
it automatically becomes damaged.
there's no power. Because it's a flow. I think of it being like a water. Constant flow. You shut it down, it's still flowing out.
Oh, that's what I was wondering. I mean,
It doesn't stay good.
so
As soon as you get it, it's like a light switch. As soon as I go that breaker, turn the breaker off. I start working on get that breaker off, and you can start working on it. As long as that breaker's off, and then you tag out, lock out, tag out that breaker. So no one, while you're working on it, no one turns it back on. Water lines, stuff like that, it's gonna hold water, but it's not gonna hurt you. Biggest thing is power. Banning a power line, banning a gas line. You're gonna have to, the power line, if someone turns it off, you're working on it, there's no gas line, that will still hold it.
Call Saber Green Fire. Calcell.
Usually you're not abandoning gas, usually you're abandoning gas lines installation.
Alberta.
That's kind of what we're doing now is
Neil
upgrading.
Sumner.
Vermont Gas is trying to take all the steel out of
Daniel
the
Sucher.
but
James
possibly
Francis.
leave them.
Kevin Stedman. Jonathan Sterling. Michael Sterling.
Roland got it.
Roland. Jacob Stevenson. Maurice. Brendan Springer. Robert. James Sullivan. Larry Sullivan. Ryan Harrington. Derek Tilliot. William Hobson. Steve Tadillion. This is your last day? Oh,